What do you think about what you're seeing now?
It's devastating and it's heartbreaking. I mean, generally, this is full up. Everywhere you look, there's people. In my lifetime, never seen anything quite like it.
How long can you keep going if it stays like this?
3 months. Most people have got nothing. I'd have 3 months, 4 months, and then I'd have to start digging into money I've put away for my long term. But
we all feel like we were being sent to slaughter without real adequate statistics. The Office for National Statistics stipulate that the likelihood is 64% of businesses in all industries are likely to become insolvent. That is a terrifying statistic. We've seen, based on some data points I can't even take as absolute gospel right now, that from March this year to September, 234,000 businesses in the UK have already declared insolvency. Also, the Office for National Statistics stated that if you are fortunate enough to be able to survive, it's because you have circa 6 months worth of cash reserves. And they only put that number at 43% of businesses that fit in that category. So even if you do manage to survive, under what conditions do you survive? Do you have 100% of your workforce? Are you even the same company? How have you maintained your culture as a business? Do you now have to have a new department in your company that just handles mental affairs? How is the mental health of your team? So the impacts of isolation, the impacts of the fear of not knowing where your next meal will come from, the fear of not knowing if you can maintain the stability of your children's life, what they come to expect. These are the impacts of this situation the world has been under for the last 12 months that haven't yet been adequately articulated. We haven't truly understood the ramifications of what's happening, and the indicators for GDP growth in itself is skewed. GDP growth is defined on the stock market. So if we have asset bubble stimulus, meaning government bonds are being acquired through the central bank, where does the money go? Is enough of it really hitting the pockets of these businesses that you've told we are not allowed to trade? These businesses that are now going through their second lockdown, how many of these companies fall in between the cracks of these government initiatives that they've implemented? We as a company fall in the crack of these schemes that they have implemented. But the statistics around the way this whole pandemic is being handled is not detailed enough to justify the ramifications and the actions of the so-called cure or solution. Individuals as well as business owners are tapping into savings or family pools in order to try and survive. And we see conversations around universal basic incomes. We see conversations around you need a health passport to travel. We see discussions around vaccinations and then potentially becoming mandatory or not. You have the Chancellor step on TV, announce a stimulus package, which, by the way, has been insane this year. To give you a sense of scale, this year I believe we've issued about 900 billion worth of stimulus. In the credit crunch recession, it was 200 billion. So we have almost 5x the amount of stimulus this year for this pandemic as to what we did in the last globally accepted and verified economic crisis. And the government handed out their little furlough packages, their little bounce back loan packages, which in itself is not really assistance. You have to pay it back. They shut you down, they make sure that you can't trade, they offer you a loan that you have to eventually pay back once you may eventually get yourself back on your feet, if you get yourself back on your feet. So why? What's the agenda? Is it a case that the middle class is under attack? You see cashless societies being discussed. You start adding these things up. The invisible shackles are now very brashly becoming visible. What world are we entering? Under what laws is this acceptable? By the time this video goes out, we should be out of our second lockdown. But can we honestly say with confidence, we don't expect another one? And that's my big fear. How much longer can we sustain the cure being considerably, disproportionately worse than the virus itself? Because that's the reality that we're looking at. It's fundamentally important now that the financial aspects of what is happening and transpiring, we become far more educated on. Because the government will continue to print stimulus. It doesn't cost them anything. If the Bank of England buys government bonds, what does that mean? Well, a government bond is based upon your future tax earnings. It's you. So you're being priced, but you're already paying so much right now. You're already sacrificing so much right now. And all the money that's coming in to then help you out is based off your, not only your tax earnings, it's your unborn children's future tax earnings. It's time to wake up. It's time to realize the Ponzi that we're under. It's time to really start taking ownership over our own genuine economic sovereignty. And it's time to declare our human and sovereign right for the ability to trade. What's important is that the technology is there. Once we get through this and we get through the light at the end of the tunnel and we rebuild society, we'll be able to usher in technologies of transparent foundations. That's where Bitcoin comes through. We've been speaking on Bitcoin for years and saying the price point of Bitcoin, which everyone wants to speak on right now, especially the fact that it's tagging all-time highs, is the least interesting aspect of Bitcoin. That's not going to save the world from anything. What will is the public ledger technology that businesses now can be built upon, which is exactly what we're doing as a proof of concept to show the world it can be done. So transparency, honesty, and truth can become a key selling point of the business moving forward. But it's on every single one of us. And with that, peace, love, and light.